Hey y'all, welcome to Quilting Central Podcast. I'm Julie with Chicks Quilting from Ganado, Texas, and we are here today with our friends.
I'm Angie from the Quilting Connection in Wisconsin.
And I'm Cathy Thayer with a cold, but from Omaha, Nebraska. So please excuse my voice today.
And what's your shop, Cathy?
Fabric Bash.
Oh, Fabric Bash.
Thank you. The cold is getting to my brain.
She's conserving her words. So what we're here today for is for our first episode of the Quilting Central Podcast. And our goals with this podcast is just to reach our community as a team. We became friends over the years, and we all bring something unique to this topic. And so we want to be able to provide you guys with something fun. So I guess, Angie, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I have been quilting since 1999. My mom and my grandma opened our shop in Elkhorn, Wisconsin in 99, and we are exclusive long arm. So we don't have any fabrics. We just sell long arm machines and focus on training and education. We are also the originators of the quick zip system, so zippers on the long arm. And then we have another location up in Appleton, Wisconsin, about 2 hours north from our Elkhorn location.
I am Julie with Two Chicks Quilting down in Texas, and we are in South Texas in a little bitty town of 2,000, but we are located right on a busy highway. If you're from the area, Highway 59, you can't miss us, a big white building, and there's a billboard on either side coming to us. But we're about an hour and a half southwest of Houston along the coast, not on the coast, but about 25 miles off the coast going toward Corpus Christi. Always have to explain where that's at. Yeah. Like nobody knows where that's at. When I say South Texas, that's a huge region. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we have a full service quilt shop. We sell Handy Quilter, Bernina, Janome, and I've been open. We're on our 9th year. We're working on our 10th year, and I started just teaching beginner sewing. Like that was it, mm-hmm. and it quickly escalated. Mm-hmm. So we have a full line of fabrics, notions, and all the things. And we do long arm quilting and service as well.
Awesome. And I'm Cathy from Fabric Bash in Omaha, Nebraska, which we say is the center of the world. We purchased an existing long arming rental program and quickly expanded. I'm in business with my son-in-law. He's my business partner, so we have fun as a family-run business. We grew from 2,000 to 8,000 square feet rather quickly. Again, a full-service quilt store like Julie with all of the fun fabric notions. We have several domestic machines and several long-arm machine brands that we sell. And love this quilting community. It is truly just amazing.
Yeah. So what we kind of want to do here today is talk a little bit about what this is going to be about. So Quilting Central, we named it Quilting Central because we're all kind of in the central part of the country. So we're in Central Time Zone. And for those of you who know me, you know I don't know what time it is anywhere else. So Quilting Central, our goals or what we want to do is educate. Mm-hmm. We want to entertain, of course, because we're entertainers, right? Like superstars.
Plus, Julie's funny.
Yeah, it's story time, y'all. We're going to have some stories. And we have some things coming for you guys. So a little bit about like what we bring to the table individually. We are all three so different. Like we're alike, but we're different. Okay. So Angie has specialties that I don't have. Cathy has specialties that I don't have. And I have specialties that neither one of them have. So let's talk about, I guess, like what are you going to bring? What are your expertise, Angie?
Yeah. So I've been lucky enough to start on a long arm before I even touched a sewing machine, which I know is really weird, but I absolutely love long arm quilting, everything long arm. Anything that I can do on a long arm, I would much rather put it on there instead of a domestic sewing machine. And I absolutely love computer quilting. We have the Handy Quilter machines and the 8BQS machines, and that computer is one of my favorite things. So I feel like I can bring the passion and the expertise with the computer part of it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let Cathy go next because I'm gonna fill in the blanks.
Okay. I would say I started sewing as therapy when I had my 3 girls and they would just destroy the house, right? And I would come home and I'd be disappointed in my friend. And when we were stationed out in LA Air Force Base, got me into sewing. I started doing clothes, and I had 3 girls, and we added a 4th girl. And I made all of us matching outfits because I was that mom. Pictures and true. And then my girls now make fun of me. So now I'm coaxing my grandchildren to make fun of their mom. But then I got into the part of my world where then I started into the quilting part of it and quickly dove down and got into the long arming and instantly fell in love. The texture, the process of long arming, and I bought an old Tin Lizzie. I went all the way to across Nebraska, got a Tin Lizzie, and then my kids got married. I got 3 girls that got married in 18 months. And I was teasing Jake one day as I'm ripping, "You should become my machine tech." And he's like, "Okay." And we opened up the store. And then one of my quilters said, "Hey, I know this store for sale." And I'm like, "Really?" And down the rabbit hole we went, and then expanded and have grown. And I don't think we've stopped. But I love free motion quilting. I love working with leather. I love projects. I too want to get to the long arm as fast as possible, but I do realize at the same time that I need to teach my people how to make that quilt to get to the long arm, because you got to have that. So I like thinking outside the box as well. I think the long arms bring an interesting part to this quilting world that is, we just had a conversation the other day about hand quilting versus long arm. I said they're both good and valid, but I think they expand in different ways.
Yeah. So I kind of have less expertise. I feel like I'm sitting in the middle of these 2 like rock stars on the long arm. So let's talk about what Julie can do. So I don't remember not knowing how to sew. That's how long I've been sewing. My mom made she made clothes, she did home dec. She actually owned a fabric store when I was a kid, so I grew up in a fabric store. That's for another story. I won't go into how I got my first sewing machine, but stay tuned because next episode you'll probably hear about that. But when I sewed all through high school, junior high school. In fact, I probably got in trouble in home ec because I knew more than the teacher, And so when I had my kids early, my son was in 3rd grade. We joined 4-H, and they were like, "Hey, let's make a quilt let's get a quilt donated for the raffle." And I said, "Oh yeah, let me go talk to this group in town, this local group," and I asked them to donate a quilt. And y'all know what they told me? They were like, "You are the 4-H. You should be making your own." We got reprimanded instead. So I went to my mom's neighbor, who was a quilter. She hand quilted. She machined piece, but then she hand quilted. And she wrote directions on a piece of paper, I swear, this big, just like a sticky note. Like
Your first pattern.
My first pattern. She said, "This is how you make a rail fence quilt. It's so easy. Just do this." And I was like, okay. So I went and bought some fabric, and I won't say where I bought it because I was so new to quilting. Like, I knew nothing about quilting. I could sew, but didn't quilt.
Right.
So me being that mom, I was that mom. Like, I took charge of everything. So I said, okay, well, we're going to make a quilt then. So I gathered up these 10 little kids, like 8, 9, 10 years old, at my house, and everybody brought their grandma's sewing machine that didn't work. And we made a quilt that day, but Julie worked on sewing machines all day.
Oh, no.
But we managed somehow to get this quilt made. and I'm gonna have to find the pictures, like I will bring y'all pictures.
That would be awesome.
We made the first quilt, and I fell in love with quilting, the process of quilting. And so after that, we did that every year, but in between I started doing my own stuff. And then I discovered quilt shops. Well, oh my gosh, like that was, and I would dream of owning, I was like, one of these days I would love to own a quilt shop. Like that's what always was in the back of my head. And my daughter, when she was a senior in high school, I had that, I guess, kind of a midlife crisis thing going on. And I was like, okay, she's fixing to go to college and she's going to leave me home with her father. All by myself. How dare her? And so he likes, we've been married forever, but he likes to do things that I have no desire to do. Right. And I like to do things that he has no desire to do. So, what were we going to do? So I decided that I wanted to start teaching sewing. And so that's how that got started. And then there's more into that. But then my niece came to work for me, and Nicole, she's my shop manager now. And the second chick, there's more to that story too, but for another day. Anyway, we like I said, I started teaching just basic sewing. So kind of what I bring to the table is more of the piecing side of it, more of the beginner side of it, and the long arm too. Mostly, I don't do what Cathy does, the free motion. I can. It looks horrible. So I'm here for your support. If you're struggling with long arm free motion, I'm with you. That's that. But I do love the pro stitcher and computerized quilting. And anyway, that's how I've came about this whole craziness.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I was 15 when my mom and my grandma started our shop. So I come from a long line of female entrepreneurs. My grandma had many businesses growing up and always small businesses. So it's just in my blood. And when my mom and grandma wanted to start the shop together, I was like, quilting? Ew, you guys are weird. Because I was that bratty 15-year-old teenager. And I'm like, well, I'll work in the office and maybe do your books or whatever. And my mom's like, that's great. So then I started seeing all these people coming in and having fun. And we were one of really the first ones that started renting way back in the year 2000. So I'd watch all these people come in and use these long arms to finish these beautiful quilts, and I'd peek out from the office. I'm like, I want to go have fun. So then I started learning how to use the machines and long arming, and then I ended up starting to teach the classes and helping all of our customers finish their quilts too. My first quilt that I ever made, I didn't know what I was doing, and there wasn't YouTube or Pinterest or any of that stuff back then either. So I just had a big piece of 44-inch wide by a yard 36, and I just started adding borders to it, but I didn't know what to do when the borders came together in the corner, so I just left them all open and long because I didn't know what to do. And I came in with this thing to my mom, and she's like, what did you do? I'm like, I don't know. So my first quilt, I had to miter 4 borders all at the same time with scissors too, because I didn't even have a rotary cutter or mat or anything at my house. And my mom's like, well, let's quilt it. So we still have the picture of that quilt hanging up right by our front door, the back side of it, so you can see how bad my seams were. That was one of my favorites. And I love quilting for hire for customers, just helping finish their quilts. So we, like I said, started in 99, and then I think it was 2010, we brought in the Handy Quilter brand. They asked us to have another location somewhere not northern Wisconsin, but we call it North Central because it's not really northern Wisconsin. We're still center. So this is Wisconsin. We've been doing this all week. Okay, this is Wisconsin. I'm down here by the Illinois border in Elkhorn, and then this is Green Bay, Door County up here. Our Appleton store's here, and this is northern Wisconsin.
I'm in Nebraska over here.
Yeah. It's been fun all week. But we opened up another location up in northern Wisconsin in New London, this little tiny town. and then moved our store to Appleton, Wisconsin. So I've been doing this forever. My husband, when we got married, he was like, quilting, okay, whatever, that sounds fun. And then my mom was wanting to retire, and we hired my best friend. My mom actually hired my best friend, Kelsey, in March of 21. And so Kelsey completely runs everything at our store. She's my right hand, like takes care of everything in the office. And then September of 21, Rick and I bought the business from my mom. So now it's our business. Our kids work for us too. Technically, I could call it fifth generation because my great grandma helped my mom and my grandma open our shop.
Oh, awesome.
And we actually opened it on my great grandma's 92nd birthday, July 1st of 99.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
Yeah. So my great grandma, my mom, me, our kids. So it's been just a really cool journey to, be part of this community. And I love just helping new people learn how to master their long arm and not be scared of it. So I think that's one of our biggest goals is to help you guys learn new tricks and tips when it comes to not only long arm quilting, but piecing.
And getting to the point of not, some of our quilters and some of you out there watching us are going to say, well, I've never quilted before. A lot of people come to the quilting world in retirement or as a form of what I like to call therapy.
Yeah.
As we go through the stages of life, we get to those points like me when my oldest went to college. I was still working full time. I wasn't nowhere near retirement, but I needed something,
right?
Because I didn't have that thing called a kid to entertain me anymore. And so, we all have those stages in life where we're just looking for something. And what's really cool and what I love the most, we go to these conferences and we always hear about, you need to know as a business owner, why do you do this? Why? What's your why? And I've always kind of toyed with okay, my why is this, or maybe my why is that. But here in the last few years, I've really figured out that my why is to be there for my customers, to provide a home, a safe space, a creative space, and because we all need that escape sometimes. Yeah. And so we are hoping what we can do with this podcast is reach you guys that are not our local customer, because we feel like that's not provided a lot of times in a lot of areas through the pandemic, and I don't even want to talk about that, but our online presence totally grew. And both of these ladies can probably say the same thing.
Right.
We had to get out of our box and get out of our normal routine to provide service to our customers, and in that same time, we reached people that were like, I don't have a local quilt shop.
Right.
I don't have this safe space. I don't have this opportunity to go take classes. So we've all worked on providing those online classes, virtual events, things like that. And so our mind is just spinning about what all we can do for y'all.
Oh, so excited. Oh,
So
excited.
Anything you want to add to that, Cathy? Or you want me to tell them? I know you're trying to save your voice. What do we have in store?
Well, we could just real quick you just reminded me of something on the why.
Yeah.
And why the long arming. So when I first got into the quilting thing, I got that long arm in the Tin Lizzie. And I came home from my job, and I have a lot of children. They were coming towards the end of working them. I still had to be home. But I went downstairs and I had this migraine from my job. Went down to practice my free motion quilting. Came up 2 hours later and I'm like, oh my gosh, my headache's gone. I truly looked at my husband. I said, I'm quitting tomorrow. And I'm going to start a business in the basement. And then as you get and you see all these beautiful quilts and helping people and the stories behind them. I love working at the cutting table when we bring in the quilts to hear all of the beautiful stories, right? It's the customer, it's going to be for my great grandson, blah, 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 and all their great stories. I just love the stories and the storytelling that goes behind
There's
it.
so much love in every stitch we make. Now, there's a lot of other emotions too sometimes, but that's what we're here to work through.
Right, and that therapy.
Yeah.
And I think creatives, as we have our family and we start moving through that part of life where we have that time for the creative part of our life becomes very important. And we want to reach everybody. But you go ahead now and say
So one of the things that I've learned, and we had a speaker, we were at a conference and there was a speaker that spoke Friday night that really kind of just justified everything that's been rolling through my brain over the last, I'm at that point in my life where I'm taking care of my mom, my dad, I took care of him until he passed. And there's, you go from caring for your children to, doing all those things. And then you don't have much time before, boom, you're taking care of your parents.
Right.
And we tend to, as women especially, we tend to give more than we take care of ourselves. We give to others. It's like this cup of coffee. I can keep pouring out of it. But if I never fill it back up, you have to fill your cup up. Yes. And so I have learned over the last few years that if I don't get a little bit of, and I don't want to use the word selfish, but you have to sometimes. Like, you have to get selfish for yourself. You have to put yourself first.
And filling the cup we think is selfish, but it's really not.
It's not, because you can't help anybody else. It's like when you're on the airplane and they say, put your oxygen mask on first before you help somebody else, right? So this is what we're hoping that we offer to you guys. So when you take that weekend to go on a retreat, or you take that day to go to a class, or you take that day just to go to open sew and sew with your friends.
Yes.
Even if you are not doing it in person, one of the things that we did recently, and one of the things that I have, or the one major thing I've taken away from this conference we're at, because that's where we're at. We're at a conference. That's why we're all three together. We didn't just fly here to do this. But we used that opportunity to get this launched.
Right.
But the one word, do y'all know what that one word I took away from this whole thing we've been going, all these classes we've been going to? Experience. It's an experience. We all deserve an experience.
Yes.
And it's not a class. It's not this is how you do this, like put the two pieces together and then you're gonna, it's an experience. We wanna make it fun. We wanna make you go, oh my gosh, what are those three crazy ladies doing next, right? So.
And you never know.
You never know. So one of the first thing that we have planned for you other than the podcast.
Right.
But we have a lot of things planned for the podcast as far as education, ideas, inspiration, tons of stuff. But the first thing that we have planned, I did a virtual retreat for piecing lately. And they had a mystery quilt to make. It was super fun. I had a ton of people from across the country, lots of beginners signed up, and we had a blast. And I spent 2 days just on the videos, just like sharing how to do things, and then they would ask questions, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think maybe I do need to show them how to do that. So I would go get my little thing I needed and show them that step. But so in the process of that, I was like, oh my gosh, we need to do a virtual long arm retreat.
Yes.
And so Cathy was super busy with an event that weekend when it hit me. And so I called Angie and I told her, and I was like, we can't tell Cathy today because she was so squirrel and she will be so excited and she will totally get off of what she's supposed to be doing at this event. So we had to keep the secret for a couple of days, and then I called her and told her, I was like, okay, are you done? Or can you talk about something different right now? Because I have an idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we talked for a long time on that.
Yeah, so we have a lot. We are in the planning stages of it, so stay tuned for that. But a long arm retreat, what that's going to entail is 2 days we're going to come up with some fun things you can do on a long arm. We're each going to have activities. We're each going to have projects. We're each going to have, I guess, just things to teach you. And we're going to try to keep it non-brand related.
Right.
So something
sure.
you can do on any long arm. And sometimes you may even be able to adjust it to do on your domestic.
Yeah,
So.
because we all have to get to that quilting stage, whether you have a long arm or you have your domestic, right?
Right.
So yeah.
So there's many levels of quilting that we will be exploring and talking about. So stay tuned for more details to come on that event, because that is our first priority to plan. And then we will we will be launching new episodes every, 2 weeks for a while?
Yeah.
So we're super excited about it. And
Yeah, this has been brewing in our brains for a long time. To actually be here and do it, it makes me very sad my voice is this way.
we had planned, actually, we've been here all week, and we had planned to start earlier in the week and be able to record more videos before, but Cathy lost her voice, and 2 days ago, she would have been, we'd have had total subtitles.
Sounds like.
I love it. Yeah, we really just want to help this quilting community. We want to reach you guys, and even when you're just needing a break from the world, we want to be your safe space to come to, and let's talk about our love of quilting and our joy of quilting, and help you with tips and tricks, and
get to know us better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, share this with your friends, because the more community that we grow, the more that we can do for everybody, because we need you to be a part of our community, and that's what we're asking you guys to be a part of, because it's going to be I'm super excited, and I knew this was going to be a great journey when my son-in-law, who really doesn't say a lot of things, I said, I think I'm going to start a podcast with Julie and Angie, and he goes, that will be good.
So we didn't really touch on how we met.
Oh yeah.
This is fun. Okay, so Angie and I both sell Handy Quilter, and so every year Handy Quilter has an education event that we go to, that we, as retailers, we go to for training. And so I was not long into the Handy Quilter world, probably my second year, and our area territory manager, we had the same territory manager at the time, and she said, hey, I know I have a lady that wants a roommate. Why don't you give Angie a call? Here's her number, and maybe y'all can room together. And I was like, cool, split the cost. Like, I'm thinking $ splitting that expensive hotel room that's always at these conferences. And so I call her up, y'all, oh my gosh. So she says, now mind you, we don't know we have never seen each other. We have no idea who each other. I said, hey, this is Julie from Two Chicks Quilting in Ganado, Texas. How are you? So I'm fine. I'm like, hey, Diane said you're looking for a roommate for Handy Quilter Academy, and I'm like, you want one? Do you really want a roommate? Yeah, I would love to have a roommate. Cool. Okay. Well, I can get the hotel room. And she goes, no, I already have an Airbnb lined up.
Yep. I'm a big fan of Airbnbs. That's where we are right now.
Yeah.
We're at an Airbnb right now that I'm buying.
And she said, I already have a rental car.
Yep.
Like, I'll pick
wait
you
for
up
you at the airport. Yeah.
And
So I wanted to make a sign, but I didn't make a sign at the airport.
So here's these two total strangers. And my husband's, this is the first time I've ever done something like that, right? Like, I never, before I owned the shop, I never went anywhere unless it was with my kids to a water park or, camping.
Somebody in tow. Somebody was always in tow.
And so I take off by myself, and my husband's like, now who are you going to be with? And I'm like, it's fine.
Everything's fine. It's a quilter.
It's fine. It's a quilter. It's a safe place.
Yeah.
And so she picks me. We meet up at the airport, and
How much was the Airbnb first?
So
oh yeah.
so Airbnbs can be a little challenging sometimes. And so I had booked it, and the person that I booked it with reached out and said, hey, we have a second room if you need that second room. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's when I told Diane that I could have a roommate if somebody was looking for one. And I asked him, like, is there any extra charge? He's like, no extra charge. So our Airbnb was $29 per night for 2 rooms. So
For
like,
both of us.
yeah, I'm like, this is great.
There has to be a caveat, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay.
And I don't
I've
think I
never-
told Julie that before we
no.
got. We like pulled up
Absolutely.
to the house, you know, and this is like north of Salt Lake City, so
Yeah.
Layton, Utah is where this was. And we pull up to this house, and it's a nice house, view of the mountains, and then we go through the front door.
And there's people there.
We weren't the only ones there. The people that owned the house were still there. So then, thankfully, the staircase was right by the front door, but we had to like tiptoe up the staircase.
We were like, oh. And
Hello.
but it was a young couple,
Yeah.
and they had a baby, and he worked evenings, so he would come in as a restaurant, and he would come in at night, and like 11:30, and you could hear the garage door. And then we would get up in the morning, and we're trying to be quiet because we had to be, you know, at our conference early, so we had to get up early and get ready. So we're trying to, and you know, that's when you're tiptoeing around. That's when you drop the shampoo bottle in the shower, and it's like banging around. And we're like, oh God, we're gonna wake the baby up. And it was funny. Like, it was so funny. But the funny part, the bedroom, the extra bedroom,
Yes.
we get there, the extra bedroom had like what?
A blow-up mattress on the floor. So I'm like, I'll take the blow-up mattress. You can have the real bed. I'll take the blow-up mattress.
And I remember asking Angie, like, $29 each?
Nope, don't.
And I had never been at an Airbnb, so this is a total new experience for me. And I'm like, wow, how do they make any money? And then I'm like, well, okay. And we like,
So we bonded over that experience.
we bonded. And let me tell you, I have told everyone that story. And so now I've told all of y'all that story. And so then we rock along and we become friends, and then we rock along, and then it's kind of like then these two become friends.
Right, and a totally
Different world.
right. Because I bought the business, and the person before me used Angie's zippers. So I started talking to Angie, and then one day she, out of the blue, called me about like the length of the machine and the zipper compared to the APQS zippers.
Yeah.
And we had a debate, and I'm like, I don't know. It was kind of a good conversation.
Yeah.
And then she brought on APQS machines. And then was asking me questions because I love to teach the robotics part of it.
Yeah, I'm like, Cathy, what does this mean? What is this button? I know it in Pro Stitcher language, but what does this mean in Quilt Path language?
Right. And then I brought on Handy Quilter, right? We brought on Handy Quilter.
Well, before you brought on Handy Quilter, you called me and you said, oh my God, do you know, I just spent the week with Angie from Quilting Connection. Do you know? I was like, do I know Angie? So then I had to tell Cathy.
But how you and I met was another interesting situation,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, so Cathy and I work with a financial coach, and when I had been working with her prior to Cathy coming on, but we built a new building 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know, I've slept since then. Anyway, so we were looking for ideas for our displays and stuff. Well, all of a sudden, I don't know, Facebook starts reading my mind or whatever, and all of a sudden these things keep popping up, fabric bash on my feed, like constant. When I say constantly, I could not turn on Facebook without fabric bash. And I'm like, who is this fabric bash? Why is it coming on Facebook all the time? Oh, but she has some cool displays. So I was screenshotting it, and then I would zoom in, and I'm like, then I'm totally stalking. Like, I'm on her Facebook page, I'm on her website, and the more I stalk her, the more she comes up on my Facebook.
That's how the algorithm works.
Yeah, and so I'm like getting all these cool ideas from her Facebook page and her pictures and all of that. And so we're in Houston at the annual quilt market, and our we call her Queen Cathy, our financial coach. She takes us to dinner, and this whole group's at dinner, and she was like, I have a new shop meeting us tonight. And we're like, cool. We had no idea who they were, right? Well, in walks Cathy and Jade, and I'm like I felt like, oh my God. Who's... this is weird. And they sat down and we're introducing ourselves and everything, and I was like, believe it or not, I know you very well. I've been totally stalking you for like 6 months.
And I'm like, what? Okay.
So, yeah, then you and Angie's got closer.
Right, because of APQS, to be honest with you, that really helped. And then a handy quilter, because we rely on each other a lot.
Yeah. So our worlds collide in ways that is just so weird, but
beautiful.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful, right? That thread. That thread, right?
The thread. And that's what you, like, as a quilting community, I see happen all the time, and especially through this virtual aspect, because I have customers that have they develop lifelong friendships with quilters in class, in in-person classes, online classes, and all of that, through Facebook, through all of that. So.
The world gets to be pretty small very quick.
Yes.
And since then, it's just been a great journey with these ladies. So exciting. This is, I'm super, super excited because I think this is going to, first of all, we love to laugh with each other, and we want to bring you that laughter and hear what you guys want us to talk about, because I think we can talk about anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
So always comment in our videos, tell us, like, some things you want to learn, some things you want to hear about. We can tell you stories all day long. Like, there's endless bucket of stories.
Right? Yeah. That's good. So stay tuned, right?
Yeah, stay tuned for
next
more.
episode is going to be good. We might take you over to the conference and see how my voice works. Maybe I'll just do the sign language,
Cathy will be talking more, and I'll be talking less in some of these episodes, but I can't promise that I'll talk less.
That's okay.
No, you're good.
I love it.
But again, thank you for, first of all, watching.
Yeah.
We're completely honored that you are. And
or listening, watching or listening.
We'd love to, hear about how you listen from us, and it's all good, right? Yeah. All that good stuff.
Yeah. My favorite thing about these two is they're not selfish by any means, that we all just want to help and build and grow. And there's a saying that you always say that we all...
Rising tides, I mean, lifts everyone. Rising tides lifts everybody.
Yeah. Lifts all boats.
Yeah. Rising tide lifts all boats.
And that's really how we all truly feel.
Yeah.
That we care, we're here, we're not judging by any means. We are not quilt police.
Never.
No. But we just really want to help build this community and share our passion for all things quilting and life.
Yeah, and life.
Yeah.
Because we all have that.
We all have such unique experiences in life, right?
I'm technically a millennial. I'm sorry. I'll apologize ahead of time.
Technically. But we've decided she's actually a boomer.
Yeah, I'm 100 years on the inside. But yeah.
In our backgrounds, but yet they crisscross a little bit, so it's been a lot of fun. And we can't wait to hear how you guys crisscross and how we can crisscross with you and bring you joy and happiness with fabric and thread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's our happy place.
Yep.
Okay.
Until next time, I hope you all have a great time, and next time join us with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Or
Bye.
wine.
Or wine.
Thanks so much for joining us here at the Quilting Central Podcast. We've had an amazing time today sharing today's quilting stories, tips, and ideas with you.
Absolutely. Whether you're stitching your first quilt or your 50th, we're so glad to have you as part of this wonderful quilting community.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's chat, we'd love it if you could leave us a review or share the podcast with a fellow quilter.
You can also find us on social media for more quilting inspiration, updates, and even behind the scenes fun.
And remember to send your quilting questions or stories our way. We love hearing from you. You might even be featured in a future episode.
Until next time, keep stitching, keep creating, and keep spreading the love of one quilt at a time. Bye for now.
Happy quilting!
Happy quilting!
Happy quilting!